Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I hope everyone is in good health. So in this video we will learn chapter 7, adaptation of plants in different habitats. So in this chapter we have only one subtopic, 7.1, which is adaptation of plants. So let's discuss about the adaptations. Okay, what is adaptation? Adaptation is the adjustment of an organism to the environment. All organisms adapt. Animals and plants have unique structure and shape to adapt to the environment to ensure the survival of the species. For a plant, this adaptation can be observed in the shape of its leaf, roots, stems, to adjust itself to live in its habitat. So the picture show some example of plant adapting to different habitat. You can see the tropical rainforest, the lake and the desert. Okay, now let's discuss about the classification of plants based on habitats. There are 4 types of classification based on habitat. First is Halophytes. Second, Hydrophytes. Third, mesophytes. And the last one is xerophytes. So let's discuss more detail about this classification. Halophytes. As you can see in this picture, the plant that we call it mangrove plant. This is the example of halophytes. So halophyte means the plants that live in swampy habitats at the river mouth, the meeting point of fresh water and seawater. The swampy area is rich in salt content. So the example of the halophyte is mangrove tree. In Malaysia, there is a lot of mangrove tree, and there is 4 types of species found in Malaysia. So we will discuss more about the mangrove in chapter 9. Hydrophytes. As you can see, the picture show the example of hydrophytes. Hydro means water. So hydrophyte is the plants that live in aquatic habitats, either on the water surface or submerged in water. So example, lotus is the example of plant that live on the water surface, floating plant, and the Elodia species is the example of submerged plant in the water. Mesophytes. Mesophytes is plant that live in a habitat that is not too dry nor too wet, with an adequate supply of water. Most plants are mesophytes. So examples are mango tree, hibiscus plant, and rubber tree. Xerophytes. As you can see in the picture, the cactus and date plants is example of xerophytes. So xerophyte is plant that live in a habitat that is hot and dry with a minimum presence of water. There is a place with very high temperature, such as a desert. So example of this xerophyte is cactus and date plant, date palm. So what is the adaptive feature of these 4 types of plants? So we discuss about the halophyte. Example of halophyte is mangrove plant. because the mangrove swamp have a soil with low oxygen content. So the mangrove tree have the mangrove tree have the adaptation or adaptive characteristic, adaptive feature to make them suitable to live in this low oxygen content and very short supply of water in the waterlogged condition. So, problem faced by the halophytes. Halophytes are plants that can live in a habitat with high concentration of salt but low oxygen content. Mangrove trees are an example of halophytes. So we can see the picture, the plant, the mangrove tree with their root system. Mangrove trees that live here have specific adaptive feature to adapt to the environmental condition. This area is also exposed to the high intensity of light. So, what is their characteristic? Okay, let's discuss about the adaptive features of halophytes. So, we discuss about the leaf. The leaves of the mangrove have thick cuticle and sunken stomata, which can reduce the rate of transpiration. So this is the cross section of sunken stomata. We can see the stomata is sunken in the leaf. Succulent leaves can store water. So this is the picture of a mangrove leaf. Okay, we can see the structure of this leaf is succulent, which means can store water inside the leaf. Okay, and the cuticle of the leaf are very thick. Leaf with a special structure known as hydrophytes eliminate excess salt. So we can see the picture of the mangrove leaf have the excessive salt. Okay, this excessive salt is eliminated through the hydrophytes, the special structure in the leaf. All leaf can store salt and fall off when the concentration of salt store is too high. So, let's discuss about the roots and the adaptive feature of the root in halophytes. The root system that branch widely and exist in various shape and size. The roots will provide support to the plant to continue living in the soft and muddy soil and to prevent plants from being uprooted due to the strong wind. So in this area, the soil is soft muddy soil and exposed to the strong wind. So this plant or mangrove tree have wide branch root system. You can see the mangrove tree have the wide and branch root system. The root system of mangrove tree also produce hundreds of breeding roots that grow vertically upwards above the surface of the soil, called Pneumatophore. So this is the picture of Pneumatophore. You can see the vertically upwards structure. So this is the different type of Pneumatophore in different species of the mangrove plant. So the detail of this root system we will learn during chapter 9, ecosystem. There are many pores on this root, which called lenticels, to enable the exchange of gases with the atmosphere. So we can see the pores on the surface of the root. Okay. This for allow the exchange of gas. The cell saps of the mangrove roots have a higher salt content than seawater. So, the cell sap of the roots does not lose water by osmosis. Instead, the mangrove trees receive water and mineral salt from the seawater entering their roots. So, this is how halophytes adapt to the surrounding, which have the problem low content of oxygen, high salt concentration in the soil and the water, and also the facing the strong coastal wind, very high rate of transpiration and high temperature. Next, what is the adaptive feature of hydrophytes? Okay, hydrophytes means refer to the plant that can adapt to the wet habitat. Okay, whether the floating on the water surface or sinking in the water. Therefore, most hydrophytes have fibrous roots that provide a large surface area and traps air bubbles to enable the hydrophyte to be more stable and lighter. The adaptation of the root enables them to float or stay upright in the water, as well as the buoyant force exerted by the surrounding water. Okay, so we discuss more about the adaptive feature of floating plant. So the picture show the example of floating plant: duckweed, fenwort, water hyacinth, water lettuce. So the floating plants such as lotus are plants that grow by floating on the water surface, which the roots are not anchored to the bottom of the lake. So we can see the lotus plant that by floating on the water surface, with the root are not anchored. Okay, it's not anchored to the bottom of the lake. Okay, the leaf which are broad, thin and flat help this plant absorb maximum light for photosynthesis. Okay, you can see the structure of the leaf are broad, okay, and thin and flat. Most of the stomata are distributed on the upper epidermis of the leaf. So the structure of stomata is on the upper epidermis, not in the lower epidermis. The upper epidermis of the leaves is also covered by a waxy waterproof cuticle to ensure the stomata are always open. So the upper epidermis have covered the waxy and waterproof cuticle. The stem of this plant consists of light tissue with a plenty of air space between the cells. So we can see the structure of the this cross section of the stem. You can see the tissue which are spongy. Okay, this tissue is called Arankema tissue. Okay, this is the Arankema tissue. Adaptive feature of submerged plant. So this is the example of the submerged plant such as Hydrilla, Vallisneria, Uticularia, Kera and Ceratophyllum. Okay, submerged plant such as Ilogia or Hydrilla, that plant completely inside the water. Okay, submerged plant. So this plant have leaf are thin and small. Okay, they have the leaf which are thin and small. This structure to increase the total surface area per over volume ratio, to increase the diffusion rate of water, mineral salt and dissolved gas directly to the plant through the epidermis. So the submerged plant do not have stomata and waxy cuticle. So this is the assumption of this plant. The submerged plant do not have stomata and waxy cuticle. Their stem, which are small and hollow, okay, help this plant float upright in the water and help to reduce the water flow resistance. So we can see the structure of the stem are very small, and the structure of stem is hollow. So this characteristic can make the plant upright in the water and reduce the flow of water resistance. Next, the adaptive feature of xerophyte. So this is the example of the plant that are xerophyte, such as cactus. You can see the structure of the roots. Okay, the xerophyte live in the desert and an area that receives very little rainfall. So, however, the xerophyte can overcome this problem of extreme dryness. How? Okay, so the xerophyte have this ability, the adaptive ability, which determine the survival of xerophyte. The root of xerophyte grow widely and can penetrate deep into the soil to absorb water and mineral salt. You can see the structure of the roots is very long. Okay, vertical root to grow deep into the soil and reach the water. And we can see also the storing water. Okay, and the root grow horizontally in the top layer of the soil to collect surface water. Okay, the absorbed water is stored in the root, stem and leaf. Okay, so we can see the structure of the leaf is succulent. Okay, able to store water. The stem of cactus carry out photosynthesis. The cactus has small leaf and thick waxy cuticle on its leaf, its stem and leaf. And we can see the structure of the leaf are modified into the thorn. Okay, so the thorn at the cactus is leaf, the leaf of cactus. This feature reduces the total surface area exposed to the sun and thus reducing water loss. The presence of thorn can also help the cactus to get water supply by collecting dew. Okay, so the structure of the thorn and the leaf structure, okay, can collect the dew. The dew will drop on the ground and is absorbed by the roots. Besides, the thorns can also prevent the plant from being eaten by animals. So this is the prevention structure. Okay, and then the stomata in the cactus are embedded or sunken to reduce water evaporation from the leaf. With that, thank you.